All right, we're talking about vanilla fragrances again. Once again, today it's all about vanilla, but this time we're talking about designer vanilla fragrances. This video is pulled from my long format deep dive video on vanilla fragrances, 100 vanilla fragrances in one video, 3 hours long. It's a long video. Maybe you don't have the time to watch those videos. That's why you can tune into the channel and catch segments of long format deep dive videos in shorter forms that are edited, because the deep dive videos are not edited. Yes, so today we're talking about designer vanilla fragrances. Before I get to the fragrances though, if you haven't yet heard, I'm hoping you'll hear today and go ahead and check out Scentfest SF. It's a new consumer-focused fragrance fair, fragrance trade show happening here in San Francisco on June 26, 27, and 28. And it comes right after the World Perfumery Congress, which is happening in Monterey on June 23, 24, and 25. I would love to have you come, get your tickets, plan your travel, and end up here at the end of June to, participate in Scentfest SF. And again, it's a 3-day fragrance fair, and you're going to experience a lot of great fragrance experiences here, discover new fragrances and new brands, and meet the people behind those brands. So I hope to see you guys here for Scentfest SF. Now let's watch designer vanilla fragrances. We're starting off with a fragrance from the house of Balenciaga from their luxury collection that they launched last year. It's 24/7. This is one of 2 fragrances that I bought from this initial launch of this collection of fragrances. I'm absolutely head over heels for the bottles, by the way. And this is a very fresh take on vanilla, easy to wear. It's musky and also it's kind of airy. So it's got like a molecular base, ambroxan. And so it's easy to wear, but sweet and vanillic. And you have that overdose of musks and something like ambroxan in the base. So it adds a kind of a clean, crisp, musky, woody, amber kind of base, but it's sweet, powdery, vanillic up top. Although I should say it's not up top because vanilla usually is a base note. I'm referring to the fact that the vanilla is pretty prominent and you're pretty much picking up a lot of vanilla with this, with the amber woods in the base. So it might come off a bit simplistic, but it's for those folks that want that musky amber woods in the base, but something a bit sweet as well. I actually really love it. It might just come off a bit simplistic, but if you love musky ambroxan and you want a little bit of sweetness from the vanilla, definitely check out 24/7 from Balenciaga. Now, we've got 3 Celine fragrances back to back. We've got Black Tie first. What happened with Black Tie? There was a rumor that this is being discontinued. Now, I had checked, and in Paris, I checked at one of their boutiques. They said no. But I kept getting comments. Somebody kept saying, not just one person, multiple people were saying, they don't have any anymore. They're discontinuing it. I don't think they are, but it's probably one of the more popular fragrances from Celine, so I don't understand why they would discontinue it unless an ingredient was banned, but I don't think there was any ingredient bans around this time. But Black Tie is the typical DNA of Celine fragrances. It's a very powdery, orris-driven or orris-forward vanilla. And in the base, you've got woods as well. And so slightly boozy, spicy, powdery take on vanilla, I think. Really wonderful. And I don't think it's super... there's no rules with fragrances, but I think the fact that it has the woods, this does kind of lean on the masculine side, but it's really nicely done. I think you really definitely have the Celine fragrances DNA. So if you like that DNA, definitely check out Black Tie if you haven't tried it yet. The very first fragrance I bought from Celine when they first launched in 2019, I bought it from the New York City store, was Dans Paris. It's another kind of vanilla, actually. It's different. It's a different vanilla. It's a bit floral. It's a bit bitter. It's a bit reminiscent of Guerlain's, Angelique Noir. But imagine Angelique Noir going into an almondy direction, because I feel like there's an almondy bitterness here. I think there are laurels, the flower, and the aromatic side of the laurel. But it's a different take on vanilla. It's quite yummy. And it's the very first one I bought from the house. If you're kind of tired of vanilla, everything smelling the same, try this one. It's different. It's not like anything else I've smelled as far as vanilla fragrances go. But you still have that powdery DNA of Celine fragrances in this. It's quite yummy. I like all 3 of these fragrances from Celine. Last but not least, it's ZOUZOU. It's more of an amber vanilla, I should say, in line with something like Le Lion, but not as dark and smoky. Yeah, it's definitely lots of amber. Spicy, powdery, resinous, vanillic. Did I say powdery? You do have the powdery DNA, the orris DNA. And I think this brand does orris really lovely. They They really do use the orris perfectly in their fragrances. And you have it here, like in your face. But it'll remind you a little bit of Le Lion, but not, like I said, not as ferocious and animalic like Le Lion. This is a bit more neutered, a sweeter, brighter, not as dark. But I still love Le Lion too. I like this one. I think between the three, the Dame Paris is the most original, but all three of them are great, I think. All right, up next, going to the house of Dior. It's Fahrenheit Le Parfum. Yeah, it's a designer and it's very vanillic. A great flanker to the original Fahrenheit on the sweet side, ozonic side, and the leathery side. And boozy, I should say. Yeah, boozy. It's good. Oh, wow, it's really good. It totally stands. I love this. This is so yummy. Also, it's targeted to men and it's very unisex, I think. Very, very unisex. The violet leaves adds that crisp fruitiness, almost watery, and it's leathery in the dry down. I think there are some soft spices of licorice in here. It's quite boozy. It acts boozy. There might not be boozy notes, but I can't remember quite. It's very boozy to me. And of course, there's a lot of vanilla. It's really good. Really, really great. Glad they have this. It's one of the best men's parfums out there on the market. It might come off a bit old school, but it smells great, right? Okay, this is the surprise fragrance I'm throwing in here. This is Dior's Hypnotic Poison in the Eau de Parfum concentration. One of you guys told me to get this. I finally did. And this is my very first time. Well, I've had it for a good almost 2 years now. But it's my very first hypnotic poison flanker. And this version is really, really good. The EDP, by the way. It's almondy and vanillic, very powdery, and the almond has that bitterness, you know? There's slight lactonic touches in there. It's almost like almond milk, but with a lot of vanilla. Too yummy. Really, really yummy. I'm glad I have it. I mean, my goal is to find a bottle of Midnight Poison because that's the one I totally passed up on one time. But I'm glad to have this because it's really quite good. I now have a bottle of the original Poison and I now have the Hypnotic Poison. Both of them are great, I think. But Hypnotic Poison, I think, is super modernized and very gourmand. Nothing like the original Poison, which is very polarizing. But this Hypnotic Poison in EDP is a great, very cozy. Also, if you've been buying unisex gourmand fragrances focused on almonds, I think that's going to come off super unisex for you. I don't think it's uber feminine at all. And then the final Dior fragrance I'm going to talk about is Vanilla Diorama. And the word is still out if this is going to get discontinued or not. If you're a fan, get your bottle. I can't believe how great this fragrance is. And the last fragrance that Francois Demachet left for us before Francis took over. It's inspired by Christian Dior, who visited Maxime's in Paris, and there's apparently a dessert that he used to have, a cake. It was vanilla, chocolate, citruses, creamy, spicy, really good and super strong too. What's going on with Dior? I don't know, but I kind of miss Francois Demachet. Although I didn't really care for everything he did, but some of the fragrances he left us with were super potent, like Tobaccolor, Vanilla Diorama, which are two of the fragrances that I've heard from the grapevine that are getting the axe, by the way. Go figure. But this is good. It's super spicy. It also, when the citruses really shine, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Shalimar, but in a modern way, not the classic old-fashioned formula of the original. Maybe more like L'Essence, the Shalimar L'Essence. But it's quite good. Vanilla Diorama, gotta have in your collection. Up next, we're going to the house of Dries van Noten. This is Camomille Satin. This is also quite yummy. This is a Julien Rascanet creation, and I think he created it with Paul Guerlain at IFF. I think as far as designer luxury collections, the two of the newer ones would be the Dries van Noten and the new Jill Sander collection bottles are really quite luxurious to me. But Camomille Satin, the idea of chamomile is so interesting here. There's a aromatic, leafy kind of herbal touch against the warm and spicy vanilla that's in here. That just totally creates a very unique smell, unlike anything I've smelled before. First, it has to smell original, and this totally does smell original to me. And it also smells great, obviously. Those are the two reasons why I would buy fragrances. But I bought that from Selfridges back in 24 when they just put out like 2 or 3 fragrance or 4 fragrances that came out together. There's even a vanilla in the collection, which I might end up getting, but I think this is the better of the 2 vanilla focused fragrances. And even though it doesn't use the name vanilla, it is vanillic, but there's actually a fragrance that they have that uses the, was it called vanilla camouflage? I can't remember. But this is yum. This is super yum. Love it. And the bottle is gorgeous too. This is Camomille Satin. All right, next moving on to the house of Fendi. It's La Baguette. Yeah, this is an iris powdery vanilla. I like that combination. It's sweet and powdery, slightly vegetal, but buttery and spicy. It's really, really great. That's the very first one I bought from Fendi. I haven't bought any since, but being the iris lover, really love that. You know, once it's spring, I'm gonna do an iris deep dive for you guys, so stay tuned for that. I think iris is a bit more spring appropriate, so I'll do that because I want to do it because I'm obsessed with iris. It's like the older I get in this genre, not genre, but in fragrances, the more I end up loving iris. Iris has become such an awesome note for me. And this is both iris and vanilla together. And it's pretty sexy, I think. It kind of lightly reminds me of the new Nishane in the pink bottle, but this being more vanillic, rather that being more musky and powdery. Awesome stuff right here. Fendi La Baguette. And I think the La Baguette is a purse, the name of a purse, I think. I don't know. That's what I had read. And then we're going to the house of Gucci. It's Vanilla Firenze. This could also go into the dark vanilla category, but I decided to put all of these here because these are all designers. And even though these are not some of these are not necessarily like mainstream designers, they're from the luxury collections. I think, you know, in the end, they're all designer fragrances from designer houses. But this to me is dark and smoky and spicy, a bit leathery take on vanilla. And I'm assuming the fact that it's called Vanilla Firenze, it's known for the leather trade. Is that what kind of a vanilla they were going after? I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure what the inspiration is. That's what I'm assuming. It's a vanilla that's not super duper sweet, by the way. Very amber woody as well. But there's a darkness about it. And I think, you know, you've got it captured here in the bottle. The color of the bottle tells you what kind of a vanilla. It's not a fluffy gourmand vanilla. It's good though. I think when the brand first launched the Alchemist Garden collection fragrances, their creative director Alessandro Michele was working with Alberto Morias mostly. I think since he stepped down, they've been using other perfumers from other houses. I think Alberto Morias is not doing a lot of Gucci. But during the time of that creative director, the Gucci Guilty series of fragrances had a couple of really awesome ones. Like Gucci Guilty Absolute, both for men and women, were really great. But Gucci Guilty Cologne, if you guys remember that, I can't believe how good that was. And maybe it was a bit old school. I think it was a bit polarizing, but I have a backup bottle of it. It was so good. It was like a men's shaving tonic, quite powdery. But, you know, people move on. So it's now the previous creative director from Balenciaga that's taken over at Gucci. So we'll see what kind of fragrances launch under him. But let's move on to the house of LALIQUE. I completely had forgotten this was designer and I had put it in a different category. Last minute I had to move it here because it is a designer. LALIQUE is a designer. This is LALIQUE Le Parfum, created by Dominique Ropion. It's warm, it's spicy, but also a bit green because it has that West Indian bay note. It's simplistic, it's easy to wear. It's a cheapie also. You can find it for like 30 bucks. But, you know, it's spicy, it's vanilla, it's a bit boozy, a bit green, some woods in the base, but easy to wear, I think. It's also, like I said, a cheapie, so you can liberally spray and not feel like you're wasting away your expensive perfume kind of a thing. It doesn't smell super cheap. It doesn't smell super expensive. I think it's right down the middle. But really good. Really great stuff. Dominique Ropion does some good work. Some not good, some good. Also a cute bottle. I mean, it's pretty simplistic. I think it's the enhancements here that make it a little bit cute. That's LALIQUE Le Parfum. Now we've got two cheapies that are super duper hyped. Thanks to me and thanks to a lot of other folks. Star by Mauboussin for the ladies. Okay, honestly, guys, both of these stars are very unisex. Both the men's and the women's. I don't think they're very feminine or masculine leaning. First of all, star for the ladies. It's super dusty, powdery, woody. It's sweet, but then it's not super sweet. I almost feel like this is vanilla powder light. If you guys know vanilla powder from Matier Premier, which I have later on. This is definitely kind of like that to me. Not smelling the same, kind of like that though. So it's not super feminine. There are some creamy undertones there, some woods, maybe a bit of muskiness, maybe a bit of iris, because it's just really dry and powdery. But I think it's really cozy, really delicious. They keep running out of Mauboussin fragrances, especially Star and Star for men. And what's the one with the fig for the guys? Forgotten the name right now. But they bring it back and they're always around $30 to $40. And Mauboussin is a jewelry house, so it's a 90 ml bottle for cheap. If you like not to spend a lot of money and you want to smell expensive and very modern, definitely try Star. Again, I don't think they're very feminine or masculine. I think they're both unisex, whereas the women's does go into the feminine direction and the men's goes into the masculine. But I feel like they're very unisex. And then this is the men's Star. And the men's Star does have similarities to Layton from Marley. It's a spicy, woody, a bit dark, but still very powdery take on vanilla. This one does have a little bit of a lacquer kind of shiny polish smell to it. It's a bit acting stickier is what I'm trying to say. Whereas the previous one, the women's, was more dry and dusty and powdery. But both of them are powdery though. Good stuff. Mauboussin is a great house. Let me know if you guys want a Mauboussin deep dive. The problem with Mauboussin, they discontinue fragrances quite fast. So, but I can do a video of their fragrances that includes discontinued fragrances. The problem is also I don't have every single fragrance of theirs. So it might not be a very long deep dive, but I can try and put a video out talking about the fragrances of this house. I first discovered Mauboussin when I first got on the YouTube in 2012. With this awesome scent that was very incensey woody. And I forgot the name of it right now. But yeah, maybe I'll do a video. Maybe I'll acquire and buy some more Mauboussin fragrances and I'll shoot that video. But let me know your thoughts if you've discovered Star or Star for Men. Add a comment below. And let's move on to the next designer vanilla fragrance. Once again, targeted to the guys. And this is from Mercedes-Benz. It's Club Black. I never got the new one. That a flanker of this came out. I believe it's an EDP. This is an eau de toilette, I believe. This is also really an awesome cheapie. You can get this for around 50 bucks. It's a bit more boozy. It's a bit spicy, but once again, very dry and powdery take on vanilla. But it's very cozy, very comfy. Surprised how good this is. This is Olivier Cresp. Is it Olivier Cresp? I think it's Olivier Cresp. Yeah, let me know if you guys have tried the new EDP version. How does it compare? A cool bottle also, I think. It's yummy. All right, so that's Mercedes-Benz Club Black. And then I'm going to talk about the Mugler Alien Goddess and Mugler Alien Goddess Eau de Parfum Intense, which I've never smelled yet. So it'll be my very first spray. I do have a video on the channel of the original Alien Goddess, which is Eau de Parfum. And then the new one is Eau de Parfum Intense. This to me is a solar take on the original Alien, taking it into a beachy, tropical, vanillic, floral direction. The original Alien is jasmine, and I believe they have jasmine here, but they also have, I think, orange blossom. It does have a beachy effect, very solar, a bit tropical. It's Nathalie Lorson and is it Marie Salamagna? They both co-created this. I think it's a decent flankered. Well, I don't know if I want to call it. Alien Goddess is a different fragrance than Alien. Alien is different, totally different. But I think they're capitalizing on the name. I think that's what they're doing nowadays. Because they know they have a popular fragrance. They're going to use that name and create flankers. But again, completely different, not identical, but I think it was pretty successful, don't you think? I don't know how many flankers they did. And again, the Alien Goddess Eau de Parfum Intense, I haven't tried. I'm going to try it here for the first time. Let's see if it's a little better than the original. Definitely more creamy. I mean, you still pick up the floral notes. It's not as bright. It's more darker, dense. Keeping the same DNA, just gotten stronger, beefier. Oh, I like this one more. Still the solar, tropical, beachy, floral. This series is created by these two perfumers I mentioned. I believe it's Nathalie Lorson and Marie Salamagna. But the original Alien is a Dominique Ropion creation. And you can tell they work at different firms. They use different ingredients, even though it might be the same note, like focusing on jasmine. The jasmine at Firmenich, DSM Firmenich, is not going to smell like the jasmine at IFF where Dominique Ropion works. To me, the original Alien jasmine, there's something electric neon about it. I don't know. I envision futuristic like Blade Runner when I think of Alien. But not Alien Goddess. It's more down to earth and tropical, beachy, like I said. But I like this intense version much more than the original. Let me know your thoughts on Alien Goddess. So we've got two fragrances from Tom Ford. We've got Tobacco Vanille first. I think Tobacco Vanille for Tom Ford has been pretty popular. Don't you guys think? So Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille is super spicy, smoky, resinous, dried fruity, and also warm spicy. Although I think there's cloves comes to mind, maybe a little bit of dash of cinnamon. So those warm spices do appear. Maybe some bright, fresh spices, zing like ginger kind of added in there as well. But it's a dark, dry, ambery, resinous experience with like ashy smoke against vanilla. One of my all-time favorite fragrances. Absolutely love it. It's so good. Are you a fan? Tobacco Vanille. They ought to make a version, a flanker called Tabasco Vanille. So add some hot chili pepper in there. All right, next we're going to we're still at the house of Tom Ford. I didn't feature Vanille Fatale. I don't have the new version of Vanille Fatale because I have a whole 250 ml decanter of the original Vanille Fatale. Do you guys get much differences between Vanille Fatale OG versus the new? Let me know, add a comment below. And then we're going to talk about Tom Ford's Vanilla Sex. Very polarizing fragrance. Nougat. Almond nougat is what I get here. Bitter, marzipan like almonds, multiple kinds of vanilla notes in here. I really love this fragrance. I know it's very polarizing. It's super cozy, but that kind of bitter contrast adds a little bit of interruption from your coziness. Makes you think what's causing that bitterness. Kind of smells a bit like tonka. I think it was a success for the house, but I do get a lot of people complaining about some of the things about this fragrance that they don't care for. Let me know your thoughts. A yay or a nay for Vanilla Sex from Tom Ford? Do add a comment below. All right, last but not least, we've got Babycat from YSL. And as you can see, my bottle is the previous bottle, not the new one that says raw bourbon on the front. And I smelled it once last year when I was in London, and I thought I smelled the same, but I haven't compared them side by side. So let's see if I want to buy a new version of that soon. But another Dominique Ropion creation. It's vanilla with a lot of incense and black pepper, pink pepper notes, turning into minerally leather with saffron. This came out in 2022, probably like 6 months after Vanagloria from Laboratorio Olfativo came out, which I'll have in another category. And this was so difficult to get, Babycat. I think in 2022, after the pandemic, I had just started traveling again to Europe. And for the first time I went to Paris and trying to find a bottle, it was not very easy to find of Babycat. And it was difficult for a good 2 years. And then now it's selling at Macy's and Sephora in the new packaging. Plus they have extracts coming out now. I think they've redone everything and they've got these gorgeous extracts bottles. When I'm in Europe or in London at the beginning of April, I'll check those extracts out. I definitely want the tuxedo and I'm not sure about the blouse. We'll see. And maybe in the future, they're going to launch a Babycat extract as well. But you guys, have you compared the new version of Babycat with the previous version or the old version? Let me know, add a comment below. Thanks so much for watching that video today. Let me know your favorite designer fragrances that are vanilla focused. There might be more out there. This is what I had in my collection. This is what I have in this video. And keep in mind, this is from the 100 vanilla fragrances deep dive video, which is 3 hours long, unedited. This is edited. But yeah, let me know what are your favorite designer vanilla fragrances. If anything is missed, let me know. Do add a comment below. And thanks so much for watching today's video, guys. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Click that bell icon. And also please go discover Scentfest SF, and hopefully you can come and take part in this amazing new show we're building here for the first time on the West Coast of the United States. See you guys later. Bye-bye.